Oluchi Orlandi has become a Pan-African brand as time has progressed. She started off as being the face of Africa, when she was barely 17 years old. And it's been a very interesting, sensational story from there as her career just skyrocketed. And she's on the runways of Paris, Fashion Week, what have you, New York, Johannesburg. And she's also she's shown some very strong entrepreneurial traits as time went on as well. And that's what makes her story very dynamic. So you might have this supermodel that just came out of Nigeria and she's blazing the trail internationally, but she also has a very strong business focus, and it's something we wanted to share with our readers.
Yeah, I got into Face of Africa through this family friend as a fashion designer. And she said to me, you know what, I think you'll be perfect for this modeling competition. I heard about it in the radio. I want to take you. I was like, okay, let's go. So I went with her, and my life just turned 360.
What stood out for me is Oluchi's charisma. She is almost the most down-to-earth person. My expectations were completely reversed when I met her. She came in with such a charm. She's absolutely lovely, and she has a very interesting story as well, and that translated in the interview.
I don't feel like my childhood is different from any other typical Nigerian childhood. Obviously, I grew up in the mainland, and it was the normal routine, just school, home, school, church. Sometimes I play with the boys. I'm a bit of a tomboy when I was growing up, maybe because of my height, I don't know. But I played on the street a lot, on the street of Lagos, you know.
Were you ever of course you were a tall kid.
I was normal until I was 15 years old.
Okay.
So from 15 to 17, I don't know what happened. I just woke up one day and my legs were just too long for my body, you know? And then that's how it happened.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Were you close? Do you have any memories that stand out from your childhood of what you enjoyed about?
I think some that I really like, that if I could go back, I haven't actually been back to the streets where I grew up, but if I could just, I have memories of me playing ping pong with boys, guys, you know. I'm very good at ping pong. Now I play with my two boys, but I remember just playing ping pong on the street of Lagos. And you know, my parents were not entrepreneurs. They were not business people at all. My mother was a nurse. She worked in the hospital for 22 years. My father was a civil servant. But I was the business person in the house, you know. So I remember selling at a much younger age, but it was more my idea. It wasn't my parents saying, go do this. It was more my initiative.
Yeah. What were you saying?
How can we bring more income into the family?
Okay,
so I'm sure it's not different from most Nigerian.
Yeah. And at that point, let's say maybe when you were 15, 17, what was your dream? What did you want to be in life at that point?
I wanted to work in a bank.
Okay, so you wanted to be a banker. The power careers.
I wanted to work in a bank.
Okay, because you had a thing for finance, or you just thought it was a glamorous career?
I just thought it was glamorous. Okay. I liked the way women wear suits, and they, you know, I wanted to work in the bank or become a hair hostess. But that was, I just felt that would never happen because I don't travel. I didn't travel at that age, but banking was the closest to it. But I had a family friend that was a what do you call it? I wouldn't say she was a designer, but she was a designer, Nigerian definition of designer, and she was a mentor to me. I was almost like an adult friend that I had at that time. So I would spend most of my evenings with her after school, and she just took me in. She was a designer. She made clothes for people. So I spent most of my evening days with her.
Did you have an interest in what she was doing? Were you fascinated by it?
I was just fascinated with what she was doing. I was
Yeah.
just her as a person,
Yeah.
and the fact that she took me in
Yeah.
as a sister.
Right.
So she was just an elder friend I had at the time, and she took me to the competition that I went to.
Okay. Which is what we want to get to now. How did you get into
Face of Africa?
How were you?
Yeah, I got into Face of Africa through this family friend that's a fashion designer. And she said to me, you know what, I think you'll be perfect for this modeling competition. I heard about it in the radio. I want to take you. I was like, okay, let's go. So I went with her, and my life just turned 360.
The shoot was very interesting. She came in with a lot of energy. You almost don't have to direct a supermodel. She knows exactly what to do. It turned out to be a very interesting day. She had a lot of fun, and the pictures look really gorgeous. So I'm sure everybody will enjoy looking at those as well.
First person singular, I was just focused on myself. Oh my God, I'm so excited. This is such an amazing opportunity for me. Just 100% focused on myself, even though my parents said to me, oh, we don't think you should go. We've heard all sorts of things about modeling and fashion. This might not be for you. Even though at that time I was just focused on myself, you know, many years down the line, looking back, you know, I'm forevermore grateful to a corporation like Mnet that gave some sort of social responsibility to young adult women, which I feel like the continent doesn't do enough for our women. You know, stuff that are just targeted towards empowering our young adult women. You know, they don't do enough of that. So then it was just, oh, I'm so excited. This is amazing. But today I was like, that was such a good thing for me and for many other girls that were given the opportunity. And that, as the years goes by, that it's my driving force to want to, how can I give back? What can I do to, and I don't even think I've done anything. You know, me bringing Africa's Next Top Model to the continent, it's not challenging enough. So I wake up every day punching myself. I'm my own biggest critic. So despite everything that has happened in my life, I don't feel like I've done anything.
Africa's Next Top Model, for instance, what was the process for you? How did you get into that?
It was a personal drive, and then it wasn't just about me, because I was stepping out of myself and thinking of the fashion industry. I saw what the competition did, you know, for Tyra and for the Western countries. And I said to myself, this will be really good for the continent. In the last 10 years, I've been modeling for over 13 years now. And I've seen the way the fashion industry on the continent has really grown. You know, I was there when they cut the ribbon for Cape Town Fashion Week, and they've been consistent. They've had Johannesburg Fashion Week. Now we have Lagos Fashion Week and Design. The industry is really growing.
I like that she is still very well connected with her African roots. She did mention quite a number of times that she might not live in Nigeria, but she feels as though she cannot be disconnected from where she comes from. A lot of people celebrate the West, and you don't celebrate where you come from more. And she urges more indigents of the continent to represent their homes a bit more. Don't give the West too much of a pat on the back. Also celebrate your successes on ground and where we're going as Africans, and I like that vision about her.
I was saying earlier, I felt like the general masses they don't really have an insight to what the fashion industry is like. They have very minimum understanding of what goes on, that it's about creativity, and there's a whole, you know, the global fashion industry is like billions and billions of dollars, and it gives amazing job opportunity to women and young adult women. And I felt like if I could pull this off for the continent, it does not only give opportunity to other women to either find their voices or to some sort of have hope that, okay, I can go in this direction. Maybe not necessarily become a model, maybe I could become a makeup artist, maybe I could become a stylist, maybe I could become a hairstylist, maybe I could be an art director, a photographer, creative director. I mean, there's a whole creative opportunity for women. And it would just sort of help the industry to grow. And we've done the right things over the last few years, where we've had consistent fashion weeks, and we've had magazines, in South Africa. I always talk a lot about South Africa because they've been more structured and they've been more consistent than any other country on the continent. They have Cosmopolitan, True Love, Elle Magazine, Glamour, and Forbes, and Vanity Fair, and it's growing and it's growing. And I said to myself, we need to take this to television and reach out to the mainstream market, so people can understand that the industry is not just what they think it is, and there's a whole another life behind it that people need to be educated about. And that was my driving force for Africa's Next Top Model. And we worked really hard to make it happen. It was just a small, tiny team of people and myself. We worked day and night to pull it off. And I felt like it was a tremendous success.
Oluchi has started, she had started off with the old modeling agency, where she actually went out and sourced African supermodels and gave them careers to start with. This is a woman who is very, very happy and proud, and hasn't forgotten how she got to where she is as well. And she mentioned quite a number of times the Mnet Face of Africa competition that opened doors for her, and she, in that same light, wants to pave the way for young aspiring models. So that was one of it. And of course, there's also the Africa's Next Top Model, which she's the executive producer of. She's the host, she's the chief judge. It's something that she thought would work very well on the continent. It's been a sensation, and they're working on the very next cycle very soon. And I'm sure that that will also be quite a success.